Hi y'all, this is Manyepa, and today I'm going to look at Biology Paper 1, multiple choice for the year 2022, meaning that's a GCE paper. Straight away we get to question 1. Which of the following lists contains only non-living things in an environment? My take there was D. Sunlight, water, and soil are non-living. Okay, so non-living things. Question 2. The diagram below shows, the diagram shows a light microscope. Which of the labeled parts moves the objective lenses quickly up and down and brings into focus the image under the low power magnification? My answer there is A. Although sometimes microscopes may have different arrangements in terms of their knobs, but my answer is A, which is the coarse adjusting knob. B, I think I'll take B to be my fine adjusting knob, but A is the coarse, and that's the answer. Number 3, the diagram shows an animal cell. Which of the following components of a cell is not found in the cell? Which of the following components of a cell is not found in the cell, meaning the cell, this cell here? That's chloroplast. This is an animal cell, so chloroplast is not found there. Remember, the sperm cell or spermatozoa are the smallest human cells, and then the oocyte or the egg is the largest human cell. Question 4. The diagram below shows the activity of salivary amylase, pancreatic lipase, and stomach protease at different pH values. So that is our stomach protease. Look at the pH, it's 2 somewhere there, and then pancreatic lipase, the pH is somewhere around 6.5 or so. Then when you look at salivary amylase, it's almost about 8 or so. Let's look at the question. From the graph, what is the optimum pH value for the enzyme protease? My answer was 2. Let's look at the graph again. My answer there was 2 because look at stomach protease, there's no 2.5, so approximately it can't be 3. Look at where the 3 is, so it's actually 2. My answer there is A. I move my camera, yeah, so my answer there was A. Number 5, the table below, the table shows food tests carried out to investigate the presence of reducing sugars in an apple fruit. The method, Benedict solution. This is for proteins, this is for lipids, this is for starch. So the one for reducing sugars is the Benedict solution test. So the results, solution turns from blue color to orange, meaning that the copper 2 sulfate in the Benedict solution has been reduced from copper 2 to copper 1. Copper 2 appears blue and copper 1 appears orange, and that's the identity test. Which of the tests shows a positive result? So the answer is A. If anything, the answer is A. Number 6, which of the following is a disorder resulting from lack of proteins in a diet of a child? Kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor is the resulting disorder when someone lacks proteins. Anemia, that's iron. Obesity, that's being overweight. Then rickets, that's vitamin D, where the bones get to bend because of lack of vitamin D. Number 7, a pregnant woman was advised at a hospital to eat food containing adequate amount of iron. What is the importance of iron in the diet of a pregnant woman? My answer was A. Formation of hemoglobin for the fetus. So the mother eats, then after all the digestion and all that, essential components cross over to the fetal circulatory system in the placenta, and then they are incorporated in the development of the fetus. Therefore, fetal and maternal blood does not normally mix at the placenta, but materials can cross the placenta into and out of the fetal circulatory system. So my answer there is A. Hemoglobin is important for iron is important for development of hemoglobin. Hem, look at this word here. Hem means iron. Globin is a term that is usually used for proteins, globular proteins and the like. So A is the answer. Number 8, what are the functions of magnesium and nitrogen ions in plants? The functions of magnesium and nitrogen ions in plants. My answer there was magnesium is involved in the formation of chlorophyll, okay, and the nitrogen in the formation of amino acids. Not chlorophyll, not ATP. Although ATP has a nucleotide, which is the adenosine nucleotide. Okay, if anything, it's not ATP. It's not ATP. The answer there is B. Number 9, the following is the dental formula of a dog. Okay, dental formula of a dog. Don't ask what kind. All dogs are the same. They just differ in appearance, but they all have the same number of teeth, and they all are basically dogs. So whether it's a Chihuahua or a Saint Bernard or a Rottweiler, they will have the same dental formula. Okay, how many premolars are there in the mouth of this dog? Premolars are there. This is a dental formula. Understand that the numerators, these 3, 1, 4, 2, the ones on top represent half the number of teeth on the upper jaw, and then the ones below represent half the number of teeth on the lower jaw. So if you want to find the total number of teeth, for example, on the upper jaw, you have to add all of these, then multiply by 2, because the top part, as I said, represents half the number of teeth on the upper jaw, and then this represents half the number of teeth on the lower jaw. So how many premolars? These are premolars. Premolars are there in the mouth of this dog. So this is half the top part and half the lower part. So multiply by 2 gives you 8. Multiply by 2 gives you 8. Then add the 2. Top jaw, lower jaw, it will give you 16. The number of premolars are 16 in this doggy. The diagram illustrates the movement of a bolus of food through the esophagus. The bolus is being squeezed downwards by peristalsis. This process is referred to as peristalsis. Peristalsis or peristalsis is the rhythmic contraction of muscles in body tubes that enables movement of substances. Therefore, in the alimentary canal, this rhythmic contraction starts from the throat at the back of the mouth all the way up to the anus. Peristalsis in the stomach is referred to as churning. The rhythmic, it contracts, the contractions are rhythmic, and at the end of it all, it results into squeezing of food, or maybe mixing of food with gastric juice, and then finally it results into passage or maybe squeezing of bits of chyme to the duodenum from the stomach. Again, peristalsis is also found in other parts of the body, like the fallopian tube. Okay, the egg after release gets to move by peristalsis, and apart from the cilia that gets to propel it, but peristalsis is found in or maybe is involved in quite a number of other parts of the body. Which of the following is not an effect of an ailment of the liver? Okay, low toxin levels in blood. That's not an effect of an ailment of the liver. If the liver is not okay, you will have high toxin levels because the liver detoxifies. So if you have low toxin levels, it means your liver is fine. It is not sick. So the question is, which of the following is not an effect of an ailment of the liver? There, it's all about the English, the context and how things are phrased. If you have high sugar, it means your liver is unable to convert, glucose to glycogen. Okay, low blood pressure, it means your liver is not okay. Okay, a chain of reactions take place that lead to this. Poor bile formation, the liver makes bile, which helps in the digestion of lipids, physical digestion of lipids in the duodenum. So the answer there is C. Number 12. Which of the following occur during inhalation in fish? Gaseous exchange. During inhalation, of course, the mouth opens, the operculum covers are closed, the flow of the mouth is lowered, then water flows in. So let's check out what's here. My answer was A. So operculum or gill cover is closed, pressure in the mouth reduces because the flow of the mouth is lowered to draw water in. Flow of the mouth lowered. The answer is A. Fish have to keep on breathing. Fish do not sleep. Therefore, at every moment, either half of their cerebral hemispheres is awake. If they sleep, then they'll drown. Number 13, the following apparatus was set up to investigate one of the products of respiration: sodium hydroxide solution, lime water, black pepper, green plant, lime water flask to air pump. I saw this question in a grade 9 paper. I can't remember the year, but exactly this question. So here the sodium hydroxide is meant to absorb carbon dioxide. This flask here with lime water is meant to check if there's any carbon dioxide which could have come up with the air coming from this flask here. Then here you've got a green plant, black pepper, no light entering. Then there's another small plastic covering the pot of the plant. Okay, then there's lime water at the end there, which is there to simply prove that carbon dioxide can be produced by the plant. Then this small plastic here covering the flower pot with soil in is there to just prevent any possible emission or release of carbon dioxide from microorganisms that are in the soil, so that if you prove that there is carbon dioxide which has been produced from this flask, then you would not say all of it should have come from the plant. So in order to increase accuracy, you simply cover this flower pot to prevent those small organisms from taking part in the experiment. So the question follows: what would happen to the lime water in flask X and Y when the pump is switched on? Excuse me. So this, when the pump is switched on, therefore the air pump, okay, this one will remain clear because the CO2 is used up here. Okay, it's used up in sodium hydroxide solution. It absorbs it absorbs carbon dioxide. Then here this will become milky. So X will be clear, this one will be milky because there will be CO2 produced by the plant there. So going to the answers there, my take was X becomes or stays clear because the CO2 is absorbed. Then Y becomes cloudy or milky. In short, calcium carbonate is formed in this one, and calcium carbonate is almost insoluble in water. Number 14, which of the following are symptoms of a disease? A symptom is what the patient or the victim feels. Okay, something you cannot tell by looking, while a sign is something that you can observe. Okay, so symptoms: headache, you can't see headache in your friend. Toothache, you can't. High body temperature, you cannot observe body temperature unless you touch someone. That's when you'll be able to tell, to say this person is warm. So signs: vomiting is a sign, so it disqualifies this. It's not a symptom, it's a sign. Coughing, that's a sign. You can tell when someone is coughing just by looking, even at a distance. Okay, weight loss is a sign. You can tell that this person has lost weight. Their mass has gone down compared to yesterday or to last month or something. So our answer there is D. The diagram below shows cross sections of a stem and the root of a plant. Which of the following correctly identifies the parts of the plant? This is the root, this is the stem. Okay, you can tell from the arrangement of vascular bundles. So X, that's a dicot stem, and then Y, that's a dicot root. So you go and check out the arrangement of vascular bundles in the root of a monocot, and even in the stem of a monocot. For the stem, the vascular bundles are just scattered, but here they are in a ring. Okay, they are in a ring form. Whilst here the arrangement is different. The central part is the xylem, then this is the phloem. But you check out this from any other book, they differ, just for you to be safe. If something like this was to be brought in the next exam, our answer there is A. Number 16, the diagram below shows, or the diagrams show some components of blood. These are actually blood cells, okay, blood tissue. What are the functions of these components of blood? You can tell to say this is an RBC, that's a phagocyte, and that's a lymphocyte. So RBC transports oxygen. So P, these two answers are almost there. Then phagocytes can change shape, therefore they engulf bacteria and other pathogens and the like. So this one also still somehow qualifies. Actually, it qualifies here. Then these produce antibodies. So clotting of blood, no, unless platelets. So the answer is this one, produces antibodies, not ankle. Someone said ankle bodies because they thought anti is for anti. Yeah, the answer is C. Coming to this one, which of the following is a function of the lymph nodes, sometimes referred to as lymph organs? A, prevent backflow of blood. No, those are valves. And if anything, in the lymphatic system, there's no blood, but there's lymph. B, prevent backflow of lymph. Yes, this is correct, but that's not a function of lymph nodes. They are mostly found in the neck region, on the sides of the neck, in the armpits, and even in the inner thigh, higher inner thigh regions. Produce fatty acids and glycerol. No, these are end products of lipids. The answer is C. Lymph nodes produce lymphocytes, okay, which are white blood cells, and white blood cells prevent disease. So the answer there is C. Number 18, the diagram shows the structure of the kidney tubule. Okay, this is the functional unit of a kidney. The diagram is quite dark, but you can still figure something out. So we've got the I think this is just touching the outer part of this, but this is Bowman's capsule. That's the second convoluted tubule, the first convoluted tubule. Therefore, the proximal and the distal tubule. This is the collecting tubule. This is the loop of Henle down here, and this is the network of blood capillaries. Which of these correctly identifies where ultrafiltration, reabsorption, and osmoregulation occur? My answer was A. Ultrafiltration occurs in the Malpighian's body, which is this here, the Malpighian's body. Then reabsorption, which is reabsorption takes place in Y. Okay. Then osmoregulation takes place in Z. Therefore, in Y, reabsorption of lost nutrients takes place, like glucose, and other small nutrients takes place here. Reabsorption of ions takes place down here in the loop of Henle. Then reabsorption of water takes place up here. Although reabsorption of water can even occur in minimal amounts here, but most of it is in Z. Okay, so that's that. My answer was A. Number 19, the diagram below shows the human skin. The human skin. This is a hair erector muscle. Okay, and these are capillaries under the skin. This is a sweat gland, sweat duct, sweat pore. This is hair. Okay, and these are nerve endings. Okay, nerve endings, and the like. So that's the skin. You have to know the parts of the skin. What happens to the parts labeled M, N, and O on a cold day in order to regulate body temperature, thermoregulation? My take was A. M constricts. When they constrict, it means they become narrow, and this narrowing prevents excess loss of heat. Therefore, when they become narrow, it's more like they go inside. Then N contracts. When the hair erector muscle contracts, the hairs stand, and someone seems to have goose pimples. And then O does not produce sweat. Yes, when it's cold, sweat is almost not produced. It's not produced. So the answer there is A. Okay, so that was question 19. Let's get to question 20 and see how we can just wrap up this paper. So that's our question 20. I'm outside and it's windy. I hope my pages won't be flipping, but as long as you can see, right, pen and paper, people, pen and paper. The diagram shows glands of the endocrine system. Even without being asked, you should be able to identify them. You've got the pituitary there, thyroid, the adrenal glands, the pancreas somewhere there, the ovaries, and the testicles. So those are the main glands in the human body. What is the name and function of the hormone produced in the structure labeled W? That is our thyroid gland. It produces thyroxine, which regulating metabolic rate of the body, especially in younger children. But our answer there is D. Question 21, we've got the structure of the brain there. The diagram shows a section of the human brain, and the question follows: which of the labeled parts is responsible for reasoning? That's the forebrain. Okay, that's the cerebellum. Okay, the cerebrum. Okay, cerebrum, not cerebellum, but cerebrum. So this one is that this is our cerebellum. Okay, tongue twisting right there. That's our medulla oblongata, or the brain stem, and then that's our pituitary gland, hypothalamus there, and the like. So the reasoning is up here. This part of the brain is responsible for consciousness, and this one, which is the cerebellum, is responsible for subconscious activities like dreaming and all those things. Answer there is A. 22, deafness can best be prevented by listening to soft music. Okay, listening to loud music, no. Cleaning ears, no. You can actually damage your ears if you clean them regularly. If you are not, you can easily damage your ears. You don't do this. Let someone from the hospitals, a trained personnel, clean your ears. Cleaning ears regularly with the hard materials again. So our answer there is D. For number 22, the answer is D. 23, which of the following correctly compares a ball and socket joint and a hinge joint? So my answer there was A. Ball and socket allows movement in all planes, and then hinge joint allows movement in one plane. Okay, so that's A, comparing. Okay, number 24, when light is switched on in a dark room where there are roaches, the roaches move away from the light. They scamper in all directions. Okay, cockroaches are stupid. Move away from the light and quickly hide in dark places where they think you can't see them, but they'll be busy watching your moves and expecting you to put some food carelessly so they can come and leave some cholera in there. So this is an example of negative phototaxis. Okay, so tropisms are responses in plants, whilst taxic responses are responses in animals. Tropisms are simple. Okay, they are simple reactions to stimuli, whilst taxic responses are complex. Cockroach sees, cockroach reasons, cockroach runs for the darkness because cockroach is afraid of being stamped. 25, the diagram below shows, or the diagram shows a longitudinal section through a monocot seed. Which of the labeled parts is not present in a dicot seed? So not so well drawn here, but we'll take it to say this is our embryo. Okay, C could be coverings around the embryo, maybe the coleorhiza, the coleoptile, and the like, but B is our cotyledon. Okay, B is our cotyledon, and then A is the endosperm. You don't find endosperms in dicots, but you find cotyledon. So B is the cotyledon, and cotyledons are found in dicots. This is actually dicotyledonous. This is monocotyledonous, meaning cotyledon means an embryonic leaf. Okay, so A is the endosperm, which is not present in dicots. 26, the diagram shows stages of asexual reproduction in a yeast cell. Okay, what type of sexual reproduction is illustrated in the diagram? That is budding. Okay, look at the way this part of this cell is pinching off and eventually grows and then pinches off completely. Binary fission, usually they split to produce two daughter cells that are almost equal in size and the like, and it happens mostly in bacteria and other unicellular organisms, but yeast, this is budding. Okay, budding. We get to question 27. Which of these plant parts can be used during vegetative reproduction? During vegetative reproduction, you have to understand what vegetative reproduction is. My answer there was leaf bud. Okay, the leaf bud. Fruits have seeds. Seed, of course, that is a result of sexual reproduction. Ovary is actually part of, I would say, a flower. It's part of a flower. So my answer there is B. 28. The diagram shows the longitudinal section of a flower. Which part will continue growing after fertilization has taken place? My take there was 3 and 4. Okay. 2, those are sepals. They actually dry off as the fruit matures. They don't grow further. They are usually covering for the bud before it blooms. Okay, before the flower blooms, these sepals cover the they cover the bud. Then this is the male part of the plant, which actually fades off after fertilization, and the like. And this is the stigma and the like. So the answers there are 3 and 4, meaning that the answer there is D. 29. Which of the methods of seed fruit dispersal carries the seed the shortest distance? Self, because mostly here the seeds just pop from the mother plant and don't go very far, and then they land don't very far from the mother plant. 30. The diagram shows the female reproductive system and its associate structures. Okay, so we've got D, C, B, and A, or A, B, C, and D. Which labeled part identifies where implantation occurs? That is C, the wall of the uterus. And then here, the bladder, as you can see, is usually drawn on the side. The bladder is actually in front here, but it's drawn on the side in order to just show, or for it not to block the way. You really need you have to see the reproductive system in its actual nature. So the bladder is usually pushed to the side just for us to have a clear picture of view of the reproductive system. And the urinary system is also drawn here because the two systems merge. Okay, the two systems merge. 31. Which of the following is not a cause of infertility in human beings? Poor nutrition. Okay, even if you are starving, you conceive. You are a refugee. You eat a lot. The thing is, poor nutrition can even include overfeeding. Okay, you can still reproduce. Alcoholism can cause infertility. Blocked oviducts it's obvious. See, ovulation disorder is obvious. So my answer there is, or our answer there is D. Our next question there is 32. The method of birth control. What method of birth control affects the normal functioning of hormones? So you have to look at a chemical mode of birth control. Tube ligation, no, it just involves tying. IUD, that's an intrauterine device. Condom, those are mechanical, but contraceptive pills are chemical, so they affect normal functioning of hormones. The answer is A. Number 33. Which stage of mitosis is illustrated in the diagram? Telophase. Okay, telophase, when the cell is undergoing cytokinesis and pinching, pinching to simply finally divide its cytoplasm. Telophase. 34. Two individuals who had normal skin color and a child who had a child who was an albino. What is the probability that they will have another child who is an albino? If they can have a child who is an albino, it means they're both carriers. Their genetic compositions with respect to the gene for skin color are heterozygous, partly dominant, partly recessive. So you simply draw your small a genetic cross diagram, then you check out the probability. This is the probability. Either of them will be the mother, then the father. Combinations of these genes, this one will be purely dark or normal. This one will be dark or normal, but carrier. This one will be a carrier for the gene for albinism, but this one will be an albino. So the probability here is 0.25. The percentage is 25%, so 0.25, or 1/4. 35. Which of the following lists of organisms consist only of vertebrates? The answer is there. My answer was B, because you have to understand what a vertebrate is. This question is coming from taxonomy or biological classifications. Therefore, a vertebrate is an animal with a spine or backbone. So birds, reptiles, fish, and mammals have backbones. Our answer is D. 36. An experiment was carried out to investigate the drainage the drainage of 3 different types of soils, X, Y, and Z. Same amount of each type of soil was placed in the funnel, and some volume of water was poured into the funnels. The experiment was allowed to stand for an hour. The diagrams show results of the experiment. So we've got X, Y, and Z. Look at the water volumes in X, look at the water volumes in Y, and the water volumes in Z. Y has allowed a lot of water to pass, while or followed by X, then least is Z. So analyze the diagrams there: glass, wool, soil, measuring cylinder, funnel, and the like. If we analyze the types of soils according to how they are allowing water to pass, their drainage, you can conclude even just by looking to say X is loam, Y is sandy soil, and then Z is clay soil. Clay soil is compact, it's fine, therefore it because of its fineness, it doesn't allow water to pass through easily. Sandy soil has a lot of large grains, so water freely passes, while you excuse me, but I know you understand. So while X is a mixture, like it has got proportions that don't allow it to for water to just pass through like that, and then as a result, its drainage system or its ability to allow water to pass through is moderate. So when you look at the answers, I flip the paper. My answer there is C, where X is loam, Y is sand, and soil Z is clay. Clay doesn't even allow insects to live in much because of its compactness, and when it dries, it even cracks. It really becomes dry. So you find that organisms don't easily survive there. 37, the figure below shows a food web in the given ecosystem, that is ecology. There's a vulture on top there, a bird to your left, then human being at the center, lion to your right, grasshopper to your left, lower left, cabbage, then rabbit. How many herbivores are there in the food web? My take was 2, grasshopper and rabbit. Okay, not human, because human is also taking in bird, making him omnivore, so 2. The following are factors that can cause a change in the human population, except for disease can actually reduce the population. Earthquakes can reduce because some people may die, and then immigration can actually cause people to reduce as well. But number of species, okay, the following are factors that can cause a change in the human population, except number of species. Okay, the answer there is number of species. Number of species sounds a little bit general. It's ambiguous. Okay, what about number of species? So our answer there is D for number 38. Finally, diagram shows this carbon circle. Okay, check out the carbon cycle, water cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, and all that. So in that carbon cycle, we've got those atmospheric CO2, green plants, animals convert plant material into animal tissue, therefore this is some kind of digestion and the like. So prehistoric plants, these are more like fossil remains. Prehistoric plants, therefore forms of coal, petroleum, and natural gas. Okay, so we've got these cycles here, these arrows representing certain processes. Which of the labeled processes move or removes carbon from the atmosphere? My answer there was A. Therefore, what do plants do which removes carbon from the atmosphere? And in what form is this carbon in the atmosphere? It's in the form of CO2, carbon dioxide. Therefore, plants remove or taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere by photosynthesis. My answer is A. Our last question for this paper is: what is the negative effect of overuse of fertilizers on a farmland near a stream? It can cause not acid rain, because they're talking about a stream, farmland. Global warming, not really. Soil erosion, no, but eutrophication. Eutrophication is the overgrowth of seaweeds due to deposition of, I would say, fertilizers into a stream or a water body. So this eutrophication can actually deprive of those aquatic animals of oxygen, and other, let me just say, breathing becomes difficult because plants photosynthesize in the day and respire during the night. So when they overgrow, they'll restrict or they'll congest the river, and they'll also consume a lot of oxygen for animals that live just in the water. So this marks the end of this paper, and I hope it was something audible and clear. But remember, confirm all my answers. You may never know. Okay, I may actually be lying to you. So to you, I say bye bye for now. I'll see you in the next video.